All right, so today we're going to be looking at examples with applying the quotient and negative rules to our laws of exponents. Okay, so looking at number 1, we have ab to the power of 5, a to the 6, all to the negative 3. So looking at this, we have this negative exponent right here on the outside of the parentheses. Since it's on the outside of the parentheses, that means we have to use our power to a power rule first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that negative 3 to the a, to the 5, and to the 6. Remember, with the power to a power rule, you have to multiply your exponents. With the a, they have a little 1 for our exponent. So this becomes a 1 times negative 3 to the negative third power. 5 times negative 3 will give me b to the negative 15. And then 6 times 3 will give me c to the negative 18. Now, once I have this, I have to simplify it a little bit further because all of these have negative exponents, so they have to move to the bottom or the denominator of a fraction. Remember, this is really over 1, so everything with the negative exponent has to move. So now we'll have 1 over a to the positive 3, b to the positive 15, and c to the positive 18. All right, and then that will be my final answer. Looking at the next one, number 2, this is where our fractions come into play again. So I've got x to the 1/3 divided by x to the 1/4. This is your quotient property because we're dividing. Anytime we're dividing, that means we need to be subtracting our exponents. So this is going to turn into 1/3 minus 1/4. Unfortunately, we can't just subtract these because they don't have common denominators. So we need to make sure they have common denominators first before we subtract. So to do that, I'm going to multiply this side, not by a 3, by a 4, and this side by a 3. When I do that, 4 times 1 will give me 4 over 4 times 3 gives me 12. Minus 1 times 3 gives me 3 over 4 times 3 gives me 12. Notice now I have common denominators, so I can just subtract across. 4 minus 3 gives me 1 over 12. So that's going to be my new exponent. So my final answer will be x to the 1/12. Looking at number 3, we have x to the 10th, y cubed, all divided by x to the negative 2. For something like this is our quotient property again, so I'm going to be subtracting my exponents. Okay. So remember, this x right here has a little 1 with it. So when I subtract, I'll do 10 minus the 1. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have x to the 10th on top divided by x to the 1st. Okay, so to simplify that, I'm going to do 10 minus 1 will give me x to the 9th. And then on the y's, we have x or y cubed divided by y to the negative 2. So 3 minus a negative 2. Well, remember, when you subtract a negative number, you're going to add. So that becomes y to the positive 5th. And that's going to be my final answer. Everything has a positive exponent, so I'm good to go. All right, if you have questions about those first 3, please let me know. Remember, if you're going too fast, make sure you hit pause. You can ask me a question. Do whatever you need to do. All right, so looking at number 4, I want you to go ahead and try number 4 on your own, and then you can check your work with mine when you're finished. All right, so I hope you tried to do number 4 on your own. So for this one, we are going to apply our negative 3 to everything inside the parentheses. That's our power to a power rule. So when I do that, I'll get negative 2 to the negative 3, and I'm going to multiply the rest of the exponents. So I'll have negative 2. Remember, I got to put that in parentheses because it's got that negative in front of the 2 to the negative 3. x2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. And then negative 3 times negative 3 gives me a positive 9. Everything with negative exponents has to move to the bottom. So I'll have y to the positive 9 over negative 2 to the positive 3, and then x to the positive 6. Remember, when it moves, it becomes a positive exponent. So I'm not quite finished. I need to simplify my coefficient. So I need to simplify that one step. Negative 2 cubed is the same as negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which will give me a negative 8. So I'll have y to the 9th divided by negative 8 x to the 6th. And that's going to be my final answer for that one. All right, looking at number 5, I want you to go ahead and try that one on your own, and then you can check your work with mine when you're finished. All right, so I hope you went and tried that one on your own. Okay, so this is our quotient property. So that means we just need to subtract all of our exponents. Okay, so looking at the A's first, we have 3 minus a negative 5. When we subtract that negative number, that means we're going to add it. So 3 plus 5 gives me a to the 8th. Negative 7 minus a negative 7. Okay, well, when I subtract a negative number, I'm adding it. So that's going to give me b to the 0. Okay, but really, anything like that, we're really just going to cancel out and go away. Okay, so I really don't need to worry about that. We'll talk about what happens whenever you have b to the 0 tomorrow, but just know that b's are going to cancel out. And then this one, I have c to the 1st divided by c to the 5th, and I'll get c to the negative 4. Now, I need to simplify that a little bit. So anything with a negative exponent has to get moved down. So the a to the 8th stays on top over c to the positive 4. And that's going to be my final answer for that one. All right, if you have questions about those, let me know. Looking at our last one we've got here, number 6 says select all the equivalent forms of 5 to the negative 2. Well, anything with a negative exponent has to get moved to the bottom, so it becomes 1 over 5 squared. Okay, well, if I look around at all my options, hey, looky there, it's right there. Okay, so I know that that is going to be one of my options. I can simplify this a little bit more, though. It becomes 1 over 5 squared gives me 25. So 1 over 25 is also an option. None of these other ones are options because, guys, just because it has a negative exponent does not mean it gives me a negative answer. Okay, so these with these, the negative 1 over 25, the negative 10, and the negative 25, those are not options because just because your exponent is negative does not mean it gives you a negative answer. All right, if you have any questions about that video, just let me know. If not, you can move on to your homework.